Hello everyone, welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays. I bring you the latest on reforms and economics of Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interests. Thank you everyone for joining me. Last week we spoke about Iraq's inclusion, reducing exchange rates, investment projects, and declines. Let's take a look at this week's headlines. Okay guys, I'm having some problems with my monitors, but let's get started. The foreign minister has stated that Iraq has some reservations regarding the UN resolutions on Gaza. Iraq has resisted in the UN resolutions on immediate crossfires and Israeli aggressions on Gaza Strip, stating that it's registered as reservations on certain words. The foreign minister's spokesman, Ahmad al-Shahif, defends Iraq's position, stating that the resolution comes with the context of Iraqi's national vision. The UN General Assembly adopts an Arab draft resolution calling for an immediate humanitarian truce to cease hostilities in Gaza, with 88 countries supporting it. The resolution emphasizes the need for immediate access to humanitarian aid and establishment of mechanisms for protecting the Palestinian civilization population. The State Department has approved the sales of Bell's logistical support for equipment for helicopters in Iraq with an estimated cost of $300 million, with Texton unit as the main contractor. And Israel has announced wide-based grounds operation in Gaza Strip as of tonight. According to the October 28th post of the IDF, Israeli Defense Force IDF spokesman Daniel Hedgari announced the ground force will increase activity in Gaza Strip along with the intensified airstrikes. He called on residents to move south and dismiss reports of abductee release negotiations as psychological terrorism. Israeli aircrafts are launched violent attacks on the Strip, disrupting communication networks and causing the complete interruption of telecommunication and internet services. Palestinians' mobile telecommunication company, Joel, announced isolation. Nartazam Barzani stated that the Kurdistan region has deep and historic relations with France after meeting with Macron. Kurdistan Regional President Nartazam Barzani praised France's deep and the historical relations with the region, stating that the demonstration a shared commitment to peace, stability, and progress, following a meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron at the Élysée Palace. And the government will not implement Sauter's call, even if it's voted out by Parliament. According to reports, political advisor in Iraq has ruled out the implementation of Sauter's leader, Muqtada al-Sauter's calls to close the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Despite a Parliament vote, they argued that cutting ties with Washington and closing the embassy would bring the country into bankruptcy and block embassies as a declaration of war. The Sudanese government has a dilemma in the lark of channels of dialogue with Sauter, and the closure of the embassy would serve relations and declare war. The vote on the closure of the embassy will not have a national consensus among the components, and the American presence in Iraq is combative rather than advisory. And the American embassy received 3 reassurances in exchange for not provoking popular resentment and avoiding fears of being targeted. The American embassy in Baghdad has received 3 assurances that it is not allowed to be targeted within the week. The embassy experienced extreme anxiety after the start of target military bases in Iraq and Syria, and the situation became tense due to Washington's support for the Zionist entities by bombing Gaza. The embassy believed it was the next target for resistance fraction after Al-Qaeda attempting to open channels of direct communication with the government and political elites to confirm its position on the events in Gaza. The embassy is unlikely to be targeted, but the events in Gaza remain dangerous and uncontrolled. And Iraq is currently in the transitional phase in the electronic payment, and there is no shortage of dollar liquidity. Iraq has reported its transitional stage in electronic payments with the aim of increasing transparency and preserving public money. The bus system is a tool for reducing corruption and a loss of cash, and there is a strong political will to adopt it. The current government is working on two tracks: the government program and the ministry's plan to implement the program and the reform plan. The reforms are characterized by seriousness and follow-up. The new targets set for the goal. The current government is drawing up a plan for the knowledge economy and diversifying financial revenues, focusing on changing the structure and diversifying all Iraqis' economy. The basic challenges faces the state in structural and circular flow, including collection of taxes and customs, and a weak confidence in the banking system. They've reported the mixed sector experiences has proven to be a failure in Iraq. And Iraqi journalists have reported that the IBBC Dubai conference will be held on December 7th and 8th, saying that Iraq is experiencing a golden scenario with high oil prices, stable government, and peaceful borders. The stability is leading to neighboring countries investing in infrastructure and large residential and refinery projects, appealing to international companies such as Shell and neighboring countries, China. However, climate changes, corruption, Middle East conflicts, and reliance on maintaining oil values pose challenges. The IBBC Dubai conference on December 7th and 8th will focus on key areas of the Iraqi economy, including sustainability and resilience in the sectors like economy, climate, business, and security. Panels will include finance, energy, business, and infrastructure, as well as dedication to education, skill, and training. Delegates will hear from leading government ministries and envoys, discussing renewable and gas captures, energy agreements, and discuss alternative financing options. The conference is also included a special education and skill conference, Building Sustainable Education in Iraq, run with GEMS. And speaking about China, ZPEC approves for oil ops in Iraq. According to journalists, China's Zhongmin Petroleum and Natural Gas Group Corporation has been approved by Iraq's Petroleum Contracts and Licensing Directorates for its qualifications for Iraq's oil and gas fields development and operations. The approval is a prerequisite for participation in Iraq's exploration and development of oil and gas blocks. The Iraqi government praises ZPEC's comprehensive strength in oil and gas fields exploration and development, allowing for continuous expansion and improvement of the company's portfolio. The company plans to conduct comprehensive assessments of relevant field blocks. And it's reported that Iraq has achieved the highest oil revenues since July 2022. Iraqi's Ministry of Oil report has reported 109,545,589 crude oil exports in October, with revenues of $9.669 billion, the highest since July 2022. The central and southern Iraq oil fields contributed for the most of this. The average daily exports increased by 3.438 million barrels in September. And the CBI and the U.S. Federal Reserve has reported Iraqi dinar strength, saying that the Central Bank of Iraq is focusing on increasing its bank from the dollar through a move towards the U.S. Federal Reserve. The Parliamentary Finance Committee has announced a move by the central bank with the U.S. Federal Reserve to increase Iraq's dollar. The committee is working on addressing the crisis of the dollar exchange rate fluctuation and confront speculators and brokers. The Finance Committee is constant contact with the Central Bank of Iraq and other authorities to restore exchange rate stability and find effective solutions while preserving the Iraqi dinar strength. And you've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith with your Middle East, U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics of Iraq. I bring you the latest Dinar news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on. If you like my content, you can give me a thumbs up. If you really like my content, you can always seed a super chat or a super thanks in the comment section below. Again, thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for visiting Newsroom Chella Smith for your trusted Dinar news. I'll see you guys next week. I'm sorry about the monitor technical issues. Take care.